Crypto, crypto.
Hello everyone, it's the Bitcoin SV Bulldozer. So, those of you who are observant will have noticed my title of the video, Who is Satoshi Nakamoto, is in quote marks. So, I'll be looking at this question, but I'll also be looking at it in a meta-level way, which is to examine the phenomenon of this question being asked over and over again. Hint, grey zone. So I've got to say, the level of craziness that is going on in the BSV space at the moment as a result of the judgment that has been handed down is a sight for sore eyes. And it is actually quite revealing of the characters who are coming out and making bold announcements and retracting what they've said in the past. It makes me wonder, and it's just a thought that I have, whether or not these people are actually true Bitcoiners. So, for me, the question isn't a big deal. I got into BSV because of the technology. I got into BSV because it had a spirit of building about it. So, the question is kind of irrelevant. I ended up 50-50 on whether or not Craig Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto, and I'm still of that opinion. But I'm really in this space for the technology, and ultimately I'm actually in this space to make money. But making money from a worthy cause, making money from worthy products, that's what the building is all about. Building to make money. I'm not interested in pump and dump. Maybe you want to make money pumping and dumping, go for it. Maybe you want to make money hodling, go for it. You know, at the end of the day, for me, that's just an issue of karmic consequences. How are you actually making your money? What energy are you putting out into the universe that will actually return back to you in a certain manner? The same way that you've put that energy out into the universe, that energy will come back to you. That's karma. And I have issues with making money these ways, the, in quote marks, degen way, or the cool way. But go for it. No, you're young and life's good and everything's fine. There's no karmic consequences for any of your actions, right? Right? So there's an investigation that's been published on YouTube under the title Satoshi Nakamoto and the Origins of Bitcoin. And it is a fantastic investigation. This guy must have spent months, maybe even a whole year or whatever, working out just from certain facts and information that he has who would be the ideal candidates to be Satoshi Nakamoto. There are 5 parts to this investigation. Go and check it out. It's really good. And just for the BSVers, he doesn't come to the conclusion that Craig Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto. He comes to the conclusion that he's not. But I still think it's actually a very good investigation. And this guy also wrote a book on it. So it might be something to check out if you really want to dig into that. Now, the point of me bringing up this investigation is just to tell you that, look, this is how big this question is. Remember, I'm looking at this question from a meta level. Somebody has actually gone out and spent however many months investigating who Satoshi Nakamoto is. And then they've written a book about it as well. Now, I reckon that's just almost a drop in the ocean of the level of consideration that has gone into this fucking question. Who is Satoshi Nakamoto? And part of what I'm doing here is drawing attention to this Satoshi Nakamoto question as the motherlode of all psyops, as the motherlode of all distractions. We get lost finding out who it is, lost arguing, lost debating. I mean, even the idea of Craig Wright as Satoshi Nakamoto could probably fill a book. I think it already has, hasn't it? How much time have people wasted on this question, where they're not actually involved in building and creating and doing something with the technology? Look at the subreddit, BSV subreddit. I was going to bring up some examples of the absolute and utter garbage that these BSV trolls with their BSV subreddit troll channel spew. The amount of garbage that spews from their mouths. They're just lost in this question. And they're lost in the argument around Craig Wright as Satoshi Nakamoto or Craig Wright as not Satoshi Nakamoto. This is the motherlode of grey zones, guys. You're lost in it. And I'm dancing a fine line with this video because I'm actually contributing to the pyre that is the "who is Satoshi Nakamoto" question. I have this idea that maybe it's time to just stop even talking about it. Just get on with it. You know, there was a comment that was made on Twitter that if you see Satoshi on the road, kill him. And that quote is alluding to the idea of Buddha. And if you see Buddha on the road, you kill Buddha. The point is that we become our own Buddha, independent of the creator. We forge our own path. And I think the reason why I'm bringing this up now is because we need to get over it and just get on with it. What I really loved was, and this is actually reiterating what I just said earlier, Bitcoin Tramp was having this discussion. I think it might have been with Isaac Morehouse, where he said, I don't care. I just want to make money. And you know what? I agree with that. Just go ahead and do something. Get on with it. Make money. Stop fighting about this shit. It's all fucking bullshit. You know what I think? These people also that are just sort of coming out and saying that's the end and we're moving on with things and now we're free of the cult of Craig Wright and Kelvin Ayre. And I actually talked about this several videos back, what would happen if they left the scene, okay? So let's say they've left the scene. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? You know, if they really have left the scene, that's a power vacuum. And unfortunately, we know what happens when there's a power vacuum. People will step in to try to fill it up. And what happens if we get the wrong people? And I dare say we will get the wrong people because people who want to fill a power vacuum are the wrong people. I am like a lot of the people in this space. Actually, like a lot of the mavericks, I'm basically a libertarian. I don't believe in government. I don't believe in leaders and rulers and all of that stuff. But I'm very aware of what could happen if these so-called bad leaders, now they're coming out and saying they're scammers. I still don't see the scam that they've perpetrated. They fixed Bitcoin, didn't they? Maybe they had scam in mind. Could be, but they haven't actually scammed anybody, have they? So I'm very aware of what could happen if these leaders, in quote marks, depart the scene. The power vacuum will be filled by somebody else. That is probably nefarious. What happens if the power vacuum gets filled by somebody from the banking sector or the mainstream or the BTC cult or, say, MasterCard or something? Will you then be happy that Craig Wright and Kelvin Ayre have left? So there could also be the scene where they've left and something happens to the network or something and people will wish that Craig Wright was back and Kelvin Ayre were back, steering the ship. Another thing to add here is that a lot of these people coming out now and retracting what they've said and denouncing Craig Wright and all of that, there is a chance that in the weeks, months to follow, something might happen where they suddenly get egg on their faces as a result of some news or information that comes out about Craig Wright or Kelvin Ayre that puts them in a good light. So I'm also aware that it could be a good thing having them off our backs. We're no longer living under the shroud of this idea of lawsuits and enterprise, blockchain and yada, yada, yada. But what are we giving up in the process? What good things are we giving up? What good things did Kelvin Ayre and Craig Wright bring to the table? And it wasn't all bad, you can't say that. If not for Craig Wright, Bitcoin wouldn't be here today. I can say that with authority. So, yeah, maybe it is a good thing or maybe it's not. Dance that fine line, dance that grey zone, be in there. The difference between me and a lot of the people in this space is that I can easily say on questions of hypothetical that I don't know. I don't know if he is Satoshi or not. I don't know if this is a good thing for BSV or not. Looks like it could be, but what is going to happen as a result? I don't know the future. I don't know if BSV is going to succeed. There's a lot of people out there making a lot of pronouncements that are actually full of absolute shit. There's some incredible vitriol coming from the BTC space, which is not unexpected in my opinion, but the level of gaslighting is off the charts, man. The BSVers think this way, that they're retarded, that we finally caught up, that we need a judge to decide who Satoshi is or not. Fuck off. Meanwhile, you're sitting on the coin and promoting the coin that is basically responsible for one of the biggest scams in human history. At least on a monetary level, it dwarfs some of the other scams. And it's interesting because I was the first one to start saying it's one of the biggest scams in history, and people are now writing off that. I reckon they heard what I said. And I've actually produced a number of videos with original ideas which suddenly start to pop up in the vernacular. I don't think it's by chance. So who is Satoshi Nakamoto? Grey zone. It's going to be undecided for years and years to come. And even the possibility of Craig Wright or Satoshi Nakamoto may be debated still in the years to come. More grey zone, lots of grey zone. It'll never get answered, people. And people will still be debating this shit in the years to come, and getting frustrated and angry and vitriolic towards one another over this question. Meanwhile, you'll be wasting your life, wasting your time. It's the ultimate distraction. It's the ultimate psyop. So my goal from here, now that I've produced this video, my goal is to actually not talk about this anymore. At least minimally. I'm not even going to talk about the question of Craig Wright or Satoshi Nakamoto, or who Satoshi Nakamoto is. Because for me, it's not about this. Being in BSV is about building and creating and using the best crypto that's out there. Ciao for now.